Can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous. I'm falling. Let's escape. I can't wait. It's dangerous.
Do you ever just get anxious to the point where every fiber of your body is telling you to just scream as loud as you can, but you're in a public space, and that's unacceptable? And when you go home, you got kind of thin walls, which Kind of makes the upstairs neighbors jealous when you get it on, but you can't really scream as loud as I can there either. And this is a bit of the somnophobia, which I take medication for. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the underlying reasons, but somnophobia is the fear of falling asleep. And it's one of those unconscious fears, right? Where I love to sleep. It's the act of falling asleep that gives me anxiety and stresses me out. So the medication I take basically puts me on a 30-minute timer, and once that timer is up, I am asleep, whether I want to be or not. Real great recovery tool. But it's nighttime, and I'm extremely anxious, and my body's doing the fight or flight thing. There's no physical enemy, so I can't fight. So I have to fight, but there is no possible way to flee, so it turns into fear and anxiety, which makes it incredibly difficult to deal with my internal, it's not even an internal monologue, I don't have control over it. And that's one of the most difficult things about it, is I can't control it. Someone suggested that maybe it's because I have sleep apnea and my body is subconsciously afraid of choking in my sleep, because that's what happens when you use sleep apnea. When you're snoring, you're not sleeping. You're actually choking on the itty-gritties of your throat. So it could be that, but I'm not a doctor. They weren't a doctor. So yesterday I was extremely up. I was, for lack of a better term, I was high. Not on drugs, just on life. And the way that my mentality goes is like a sine wave. It goes up, it goes down. Yesterday was up, and I was extremely optimistic, extremely hopeful, because every time I'm up, I feel good, and I hope that the up never ends. But inevitably, it does. And when you get down, you go down hard, and it is extremely, extremely difficult to build yourself back up, rationalize positive thinking. So I've got all these powerlifting mentality, all these things, because a lot of my mental stability is closely tied with powerlifting. And I use these cues, I use these tricks, these anchors towards mentality to help myself stay within grips, within reaching distance of the physical reality around me. Because there's nothing more terrifying than looking and in your field of vision not seeing what's actually there, seeing something completely different that's not actually there. So you shouldn't use the gym as iron therapy. Yeah, it feels good, but because your body can't tell the difference between subconscious, conscious, and physical stress, and the gym is, at the end of the day, a physical stressor. So it makes you feel good for a little bit. You Icarus yourself. You want more. You become an addict to the iron. It's not a bad thing, because lifting is healthy. But at the end of the day, the iron, the steel, whatever you're lifting, the platinum, is inanimate. What you need when you are mentally ill, such as myself, is a mental coach. I have a powerlifting coach, Greg Panora. I have a physical therapist, which is my recovery coach, Dwayne Chioda. I have a nutrition coach, Brianni Terry. And before I started my job, I had a mental coach, my therapist. I'm not going to say my therapist's name. That'd be that's a little too personal. Because it takes a village to raise a child, and powerlifters at the end of the day are just really big children. So if you struggle with things mentally, don't dive into a Katy Perry song. Don't dive into the gym, because it'll make you feel better. But are you treating the symptom or the cause? Because unless you treat the cause, which a therapist or psychologist will be able to address, then the symptoms will never go away. They can only be temporarily alleviated. So if you're struggling, find help. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather read your story. I'd rather, you guys can DM me, Full Primal Power on Instagram, and I don't really understand YouTube's DM system right now, but if you're having trouble finding help, you can talk to me, because I'd rather hear your story than hear your eulogy. And I can help you find help. I can't do it for you, but I can help you. Because I know with myself, the hardest thing is actually doing it. I can find the help, but pulling the trigger, that's the hard part. Pulling the trigger on getting the help, not the morbid part. You can't PR, you can't compete, You can't train for success if you're mentally incapable of handling the stressors.